Welcome to Your Baby Can Sleep. This video is about a sleep training program and a sleep coaching service to help you get your children sleeping through the night for their benefit and yours. The intended audience for this video is parents with 6 to 12-week-olds not sleeping 6 consecutive hours at night, parents with 3 to 6-month-olds not sleeping 8 hours, greater than 6-month-olds not sleeping 10 hours, parents looking for a no-drug approach to achieving sleep for their children, parents of children without a medical condition directly affecting their sleep, and expectant parents who do not know how to sleep train their children to achieve the above milestones. Hospital midwives and birthing classes won't teach you. What's going on in your house right now? Well, I'm willing to bet that your child will only fall asleep when nursed or bottle fed, given a dummy, or rock bounced or taken for a ride in the car. Lots of time is being spent helping your child get to sleep. Your child doesn't sleep for more than a few hours. Your child's sleep is erratic. Your child sleeps in or beside your marital bed. You and your child are tired, stressed and moody. Your child's not eating consistently. You're waking up to your child many times each night. You don't go out because you don't want to disturb your sleeping child. Your child tantrums. And only you can calm your child when they awake. So there goes the babysitting idea. You're not getting time for yourself, your hobbies, or your chores or friends. There's lots of noise in the house. Work performance is suffering. Your relationship's under stress. Your sex life is poor and non-existent. You're feeling out of control, and your own lack of sleep is starting to take a toll on you and your family. But I'm sure you knew all this. What you may not know is the long-term effects on children of inadequate sleep in the first year. Studies show higher levels of fatty tissue and obesity, higher basal stress levels in the morning, as measured by cortisol, fatigue and bad moods, less ability to respond to and cope with new or difficult situations, tantrums, emotional control problems and other behavioural problems, poor academic performance at school, slower learning, lower IQ, less attentive and more hyperactive, poor memory and organisation, social and relational problems, psychological problems, poor general health due to a compromised immune system, and digestive disorders, to name but a few. In summary, children are worse off developmentally, physically, emotionally and psychologically. Here are some references if you want to take a quick screenshot and a second page. There are also long-term effects on parents of inadequate sleep while parenting. The studies show an increased stress and anxiety in the afternoons and evenings, poor parenting, increased feelings of hunger, obesity, depression including postnatal depression, an impaired immune system, an impaired ability to retain new memories, greater emotionality and irritability, a loss of libido and happiness, a degradation of work performance, withdrawal from social activities, cardiovascular issues, drowsiness while driving and working, exhaustion, violence towards children, eventual inability to cope, and relationship breakdown, again to name but a few. In summary, parents are worse off physically, emotionally and psychologically. Here are some references. Take a screenshot. So who are we and what can we do to help? Well, I'm David. I'm the founder of Your Baby Can Sleep. Children love me. I'm that dad that all the children come and play with. I love kids and I love seeing families thrive. Since I was 12, I wanted to help families, and when I saw sleep training was a huge need and something I was good at, I got excited and I got involved. I'm passionate about helping your family sleep too. I'm from a family of midwives and have many midwife friends and colleagues. My mother started midwifery 63 years ago and my sister is a practicing paediatric emergency nurse. They've all taught me very much. I'm also the father of 4 physically and emotionally healthy children, all of whom I easily taught to sleep through the night by 6 weeks of age, despite their vast personality differences. I'm a qualified instructor. What I and my team of coaches will teach you is what I have learned and used over many years and what I've taught many young families with great success. Before I show you what we can do to help, I'd like to show you 6 secrets regarding childhood sleep. The first is that sleeping through the night is normal. If you think sleeplessness at night is normal or that your child is sleep unique, you're wrong. You see, a baby's circadian rhythm of hormones establishes itself around about 6 to 8 weeks of age. This rhythm drives a baby to sleep during the night and be active during the day. Only parents can disrupt or allow this rhythm to be disrupted. The American Academy of Pediatrics published a table of normal night sleep durations for children of various ages, and that's on the right there. As you can see, time awake for newborns and babies is mostly time spent feeding, while time awake for infants and toddlers is related to their bedtime. In other words, they shouldn't be awake at night. You'll also note there's no allowance in the table for different child races, sexes, personalities or temperaments. The simple fact is sleeping through the night is normal, regardless of the child's temperaments. Secondly, sleep habits are made by parents. You probably think children know naturally when and how to sleep, and that if you impose your sleep requirements on your child, you might harm them. This belief stems from a lack of sleep knowledge and/or an ineffective parenting style. You have or will, therefore, let your children take over as parents by allowing them to establish their own bad sleep habits. The reality is a child has no idea when, where, why, or how to sleep. These are your jobs. You're the responsible parent, you're the grown-up, you're the intelligent teacher. You need to understand your situation clearly. Your child doesn't have a sleep problem. You have a lack of sleep knowledge and/or an ineffective parenting style. This just isn't my belief. Studies prove that parenting styles determine sleep patterns. Here's a quote. Ineffective parenting styles, of the permissive type, and daytime disruptive behaviours were more likely to be associated with the milder sleep disturbances found in children. There's the reference. This means that sleep is a learned behaviour. This means that sleep can be learnt by practice and by establishing habits. This means you have to teach your children when to sleep, i.e. at night and appropriate times during the day, and how to put themselves to sleep. If you do not know how to teach sleep, then you need to learn. The good news is, if you do teach your children after learning about sleep, all your child's sleep habits can be transformed into a healthy regime. So sleeping is a learned behaviour. The fourth secret I'd like to let you in on is that bad sleep habits will not fix themselves. Because sleep is a learned behaviour, it is habit-based. Habits will continue until you facilitate a change of habit. Sleep problems, therefore, aren't something that your children just naturally grow out of. If you're going through the same struggles with your child night after night, you already know this. The fact is that babies who don't sleep well become toddlers who don't sleep well, who become adolescents who don't sleep well, who eventually become adults who don't sleep well. The longer you live changing the bad sleep habits, the more harm will be done and the harder it will be to fix. So bad sleep habits won't fix themselves. The fifth secret I'd like to let you in on is that sleep training won't harm your child. You've probably heard that sleep training means abandoning your child to cry themselves to sleep. This is often referred to as crying it out, or scientifically as unmodified extinction. Take note of those important words. Every sleep training method involves crying of some sort. It is a 100% certainty because it involves changing your child's sleep habits. What varies between the different sleep training methods is the style of the soothing that takes place as a result of the crying. Attachment parenting advocates strive to minimise all crying through endless exhaustive soothing. And contrary to what attachment parenting advocates say, crying it out advocates don't abandon their children. They just don't soothe their children's tantrums about sleep. They're still loving to respond to all their child's other needs. The fact is, crying does zero harm to a child, just as talking and crying does zero harm to you and I right now. Additionally, the emotions associated with crying are a powerful teacher for children. The belief that crying it out is harmful for a child, particularly when done during sleep training by a loving parent, is a complete and utter myth. More on that in the frequently asked questions section. Why do I say it's a myth? Well, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine reviewed 52 peer-reviewed scientific studies published between 1970 and 2005 involving 1,100 children between the ages of 6 weeks and 5 years regarding the behavioural treatment of bedtime problems and night wakings in infants and young children. They reported in October 2006 that across all the studies, 94% reported that behavioural interventions were effective, with over 80% of children treated demonstrating clinically significant improvements that were maintained for 3 to 6 months, because that was the duration of the studies. In particular, empirical evidence provided the strongest support for unmodified extinction, or crying it out, and preventative parental education. I'll say that again. The empirical evidence provided the strongest support for unmodified extinction, crying it out, and preventative parental education. An overwhelming majority of children responded favourably to these behavioural techniques, resulting in not only better sleep, but also improvements in child and family well-being. In study after study, sleep training was found in a very short period of time to reduce bedtime struggles and night wakings, increase sleep for child and parents, improve child temperament and mood, reduce parenting stress and postnatal depression, and increase confidence and marital satisfaction. Most importantly, not a single study identified a negative effect on babies' behaviour or relationship with their parents. There is just simply no evidence of the scientific nature that sleep training of any kind by loving parents causes any damage to children. And there's lots of scientific evidence that sleep training is good for children and parents. So, rest assured, sleep training won't harm your child in any way. And in fact, crying it out, unmodified extinction, and parental education are the two best forms of sleep training. The sixth and final secret I'd like to share with you is that sleep training is not selfish. Over time, you've subconsciously learned that getting up multiple times during the night for your child is part of the job, and that your baby shouldn't cry. After all, it disturbs others, it draws attention, it's stressful, you fear being perceived as failing to meet their needs or rough, etc. So as parents, you tend to feel selfish if you want a good night's sleep by seeking to implement sleep training. Your selfish feelings are exacerbated when you realise that your child might cry during the sleep training process. Well, I want you to consider a safety message from an airline hostess. She says, if oxygen masks fall from the ceiling, parents should fit their own mask before assisting children. In an emergency, a selfless parent fitting a mask to a child before themselves will be unwise, because they could pass out and the child they fitted the mask to may not be able to fit a mask to them or their siblings. What is even more tragic is that the child with the mask may end up removing it without parental supervision. A selfish parent, however, putting their own mask on first, could quickly save all of their children and supervise them. That's what I call wisdom. The first scenario is you now. You're trying to look after one child to the detriment of yourself and your other family members. In the long run, you're being counterproductive and unwise. The second scenario is like sleep training. Sleep training, while seeming selfish, is actually wisdom. The parents get sleep, and so does the child and the siblings. The parents are more able to parent well, and the negative consequences of poor sleep are avoided for all. So put those selfish feelings away. Sleep training your child doesn't just let you get a full night's sleep, it's also the wise thing to do for your child and the whole family. All right, a summary now and a question. So far we've seen that poor sleep habits will not fix themselves, and that parents are responsible to teach children how to sleep, because sleep is a learned behaviour. Sleeping through the night is normal, and children don't know how to do it. Here's a thought for you. You will do what you believe, and you will spend on what you value. If you believe your sex life, your happiness, your job, your relationship, your figure, and your children's safety are important, you'll do something about preserving them. Now, these are the opposites of the effects, the negative effects on parents of sleep deprivation. And here are the effects on children. If you want your children to have friends, to do well at school, to be healthy, be a healthy weight and be psychologically well, you will do something to help them. Unfortunately, some parents put more value on a second-hand car or a holiday than they do on their own health, their children's health, or their relationship. So a question. How much do you value your child's sleep and your own? And what are you going to do about it? Here's what we can do to help. We offer a sleep training program to give you the knowledge you need to sleep train your children, with simple, clear parenting information in video and written format, so you know what to do and why. Step-by-step guides on how to effect and maintain the change, and specific guidance for each age group of child. We also offer a sleep coaching service to help you implement the knowledge, with personal visits to your house to properly diagnose your situation, in-person, phone, FaceTime, Skype assistance from a coach for 4 weeks, and coach stay and night options if desired to guide, encourage and support you through the process. What do we promise? Well, we promise your child will not be physically or emotionally harmed in any way. Your child will be sleeping through the night within 6 weeks for newborns and within 2 weeks, typically 3 days for others. Your child will achieve a stable meal routine and you will learn how to be better parents. And there are many other beneficial side effects for your whole family. We also promise to lead you every step of the way and be there if you need help. So why is Your Baby Can Sleep a better sleep training program? Well, we care about your family, so we're going to go above and beyond. Our sleep training is done in your house, not in a strange medical facility which stresses mother and child and is difficult to reproduce in your own home. We encourage all carers, fathers, older siblings, grandparents, etc. to be involved in the training, not just the mother. We put lots of emphasis on why you do things so you understand what you're doing. Parents and sleep coaches will talk to each other in person or on the phone via FaceTime and Skype, not like self-taught online courses where there's limited or no opportunity for reassurance and questions. We also use the most effective, reliable and efficient techniques to correct sleep problems, which significantly reduce the duration and stress of the training period. We also use food and play to help regulate sleep, whereas other programs do not. Our training can be commenced at birth, not at 6 months like other programs, thereby negating the stressful need to undo 6 months' worth of bad sleep habits, and we build a solid sleeping pattern which will easily withstand interruptions during developmental milestones and the rigours of life. Finally, our training doesn't just help sleep, it helps you to be a better parent in many other ways. Some frequently asked questions. How long will it take to see results? Well, every child, parent and family is different, so it's impossible to give an exact answer. However, most parents will see a significant lasting improvement in their child's nighttime sleep from the third night. Will the results be permanent? They certainly will, provided you continue to employ the simple techniques you're taught. Is it hard to learn the techniques needed? Not at all. What we ask you to do is very simple and it requires no skill or expertise whatsoever. How much will my baby cry? Well, we aim to eliminate your child's need to cry at bedtime by making them willing to sleep in advance. Your child will cry, if at all, only until they learn to sleep. This is not 1 second more or not 1 second less than they need. Rest assured, the program will not discourage you from dealing with your baby's legitimate needs in any way at any time during the training. Sleep training should be effective within 3 to 7 days, so we do not expect you to persevere beyond a week. Something else may need to be fixed first. If you're unwilling to tolerate any crying, not even for a minute or two, then no program will help you change your baby's sleep routine, and you will not be helping your child. Lastly, who falsely said crying it out was harmful? Well, the view was popularised by Dr. William Sears in the 1980s through the Baby Book and carried forward by the attachment parenting fraternity to modern day. Sears cited scientific studies that showed the long-term negative effects of children crying. However, what he doesn't tell you is that the children in the studies he cited were abused and neglected children from orphanages who cried for many years. They were not children from loving sleep training families where crying only lasted a few days. As you've seen, the Real Medical Fraternity has strongly contradicted the non-evidence-based opinions of the attachment parenting fraternity. Time magazine investigated Dr. Sears and found his claims to be unsubstantiated and grossly misleading, producing letters of criticism from the original scientists whose work Sears had misrepresented. The reason attachment parenting remains popular today is because it agrees with the indulgent permissive parenting style that 25% of parents naturally fall into without corrective education, and because most people have not heard about the criticisms. Psychologists and paediatricians unanimously agree that the indulgent permissive parenting style is very harmful and unhealthy for children. So, if you're ready to put those long nights of interrupted sleep behind you and to make a commitment to your child's health by giving them the gift of a good night's sleep and get started today, we're looking forward to helping you. If you want sleep training help or to find out more, book a free consultation now.